So welcome everybody. This is our Women in Business Committee. Uh, my name is Kirby Davis and I am the Membership Services Associate here at the Chamber of Commerce of the Palm Beaches. Today we have Tonya Davis Johnson. Tonya Davis is the Director of the Palm Beach County Office of Equal Business Opportunity that exists to promote the economic growth, expansion, and increased productivity of small business enterprises in Palm Beach County. In this role, Tonya is responsible for administering the county's stated objective of ensuring equal opportunity to bid for county projects, leases, and contracts. She is also responsible developing and implementing policies and procedures that will enhance small, minority, and women business enterprises. Participation in the county's contracting and the procurement opportunities, she establishes certification procedures and identifies competitive contracting opportunities certified for the SMWBEs. She has developed community outreach initiatives for the overall advancement of entrepreneurship in Palm Beach County and its surrounding communities. I do want to remind everybody that this meeting is being recorded, so please stay muted until you are asked otherwise. We do want this to be an interactive meeting, so we would love to hear some input later on. And I do believe we have some polls that we will be presenting in a few minutes. We will be doing self-introductions at the end of the program. And then if you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat. And that is all I have to say. So Tonya, I will hand it over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone. And thank you, Kirby, for that warm introduction. I want to welcome you all to the second installment for Women in Business Committee, a presentation on equity. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit of information about myself beyond what Kirby told you and introduce you to my amazing team. So I'm entering my 35th year of employment with Palm Beach County under the Board of County Commissioners. Yeah, right? And I started out as a temporary employee for the magistrate Weaver in the office of the Domestic Relations Commissioner. I was a temporary employee, and I found out about permanent employment, and I started out in 1986 as a secretary. And I don't know if you all know Mr. Clarence Anthony. He is now the national president of the League of Cities. He gave me my first opportunity here in Palm Beach County. And so I started in the Office of Equal Opportunity, from which this office was born. I worked with Mr. Bill Wilkins. He's a former county administrator and a former assistant county administrator and a former City of Riviera Beach city manager. I subsequently was transferred over to Ms. Virginia Baker when she was named assistant county administrator, and I served with her her entire time as deputy county administrator. And I transitioned over into the office of, it was then the Office of Small Business Assistance as a small business development specialist, and has since worked my way up to director of the office. I am truly a success story in Palm Beach County government, and in the process of progression, I want to thank the county administrator for giving me the opportunity to serve in the capacity in which I do. A little fun fact, my daughters and I grew up in the county, and one of my daughters currently works in public safety for Palm Beach County. I am a wife, a mother, a Mima, and most excitedly, on tomorrow, my eldest daughter will be induced, bringing our second grandbaby to the world, Madison Michelle. So I am a graduate of Palm Beach Atlantic University. I have a bachelor's in organizational management with a minor in entrepreneurship and a master's degree in organizational leadership. So let's get to it. Do put your questions in the chat box. You know, I want this to be as interactive as possible. I want to make sure that you walk away with some nuggets that you can certainly introduce into your organizations if you're not already doing so. Oh, are you sharing screen? Okay. All righty. So welcome. There is, on to the next slide, Kirby. Go ahead. A presentation on equity. Good morning. This is the amazing team that's been assembled here in the Palm Beach County Office of Equal Business Opportunity. This team has grown out of the Palm Beach County Disparity Study. And we now have, and I see her in the room with us, our new Outreach and Public Information Coordinator who came to us at the very height of the pandemic. She came to us from Tallahassee and from the private sector and was immediately thrown into government in the midst of a pandemic, which none of us had any experience. So welcome, Tonya Smith. We have Kanisha James, Mr. Alan Gray, and we have Small Business Development Specialists, 3s, 2s, and 1s. We have a contract analyst that is responsible for reporting. Before we get started, I want to have you just respond to this poll. So I wanted to know what you thought about when you heard the word equity. One of you said equality, one said fairness, the 78% believe that all of the above. It's easy, more often than not, when we hear the word equity, we kind of think of it in terms of equality. Kirby, if you don't mind, can I take over the screen? One second. There we go. Thank you. All righty. Alrighty, before I go any further, if you need to reach us, you can reach us here and Tonya will put it in the chat box for you. Our telephone number is 561-616-6840. And you're encouraged to visit our website, pbcgov.org/OABO. Alrighty, you all ready to go? Buckled up, ready to go? All right, let's do this. So as we prepare to take this to address the subject at hand, I thought it was important for us to kind of look at equity defined. And this is from the Webster's Dictionary, of course. The quality of being fair and impartial, overcoming discrimination against specific groups, and levels of support and assistance depending upon the need. That's going to be key. So do know that this is a safe, no judgment zone. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts and to make sure that you are engaged as we address the subject of equity. I want to show you this short video. Oh, come back. There we go. Can you all see that? All right.
Today, we are talking about equity and equality. But you might be wondering, wait, aren't these the same thing? They look the same, they sound similar, so aren't they the same? No, in fact, they're really different concepts, even though a lot of us get the two confused. So let's break them down. You probably already know what we mean when we say equality. We're talking about two things that are the same or have a similar value. When we treat two people or two groups of people equally, we make sure that they have or get the same things. For example, if I want to give Betty some apples, then I need to give Ben the same number of apples to treat them with equality. Along the same lines, if I want to give the nursing program a budget increase, then I need to make sure that I give the culinary arts program the same budget increase to treat them with equality. That makes sense. But that's not the same thing as equity. Equity can be defined as giving everyone what they need to be successful. In other words, it's not giving everyone the exact same thing. And here's where the difference between equity and equality really come in, because it's important to remember that if we give everyone the exact same thing, expecting that we'll make people equal, it assumes that.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry.
To be successful. In other words, it's not giving everyone the exact same thing. And here's where the difference between equity and equality really come in, because it's important to remember that if we give everyone the exact same thing, expecting that we'll make people equal, it assumes that everyone started out in the same place. So here's an example. In this instance, we give everyone the exact same box. We treat them with equality so that they can see over the fence. Well, that's great for the person on the left because they were already taller, but it's not so great for the person on the right who still can't see over the fence. From an equity perspective, we wouldn't want everyone to have the same size box because everyone isn't the same height to start out with. With an equity mindset, we would get everyone what they need to raise them up to the same level. Here's another example. With equality in mind, we can treat everyone the same and give them all the same bike, but that doesn't really help the person on the left who can't ride that kind of bike, or the person in the middle that is too small for that bike. So when we think about this situation with equity in mind, equity tells us that we need to give everybody a different kind of bike so they can all enjoy a bike ride. As you might guess, this is where the concept of fairness gets tricky for some folks. We often think that being fair means that everybody gets the same thing, and that's what we were taught when we were growing up. But fairness really only works when we're all the same to start out with. So this is a new idea for many of us to think about. There is this great American saying that people just need to work hard enough and pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. It's this idea that everyone can be successful if you just work hard enough. Well, that's a lot easier to do when some of us were born with longer arms to pull up those bootstraps, or maybe we were given longer bootstraps when we bought our boots. So let's think about moving away from the bootstrap idea and instead think about shoes. There is a quote by Nahid Dasani that goes, "Equality is giving everyone a shoe, but equity is giving everyone a shoe that fits."
There we go. So what'd you guys think about that video? How do you and your organization view equity? Do you subscribe to that same thought process? Do you believe in the pulling up by the bootstraps, or do you believe that you need to identify where the challenges are and where the adjustments need to be made? There are several things to consider when we think about the subject of equity. If you'll remember, the first presentation dealt with diversity. It was multiple identities, where they discussed that multiple identities were represented. But as we look at this graph here, there are a couple of things that are included in the process of addressing the equity portion. Yes, we need diversity. Of course, we have to have multiple identities in order to make sure that there is a true representation, belonging, identifying the full potential of an individual. We want to know, what their beliefs are, what their core values are, how they move through life, what is their actual sense of belonging, and what their needs are in the workplace. We want to talk about inclusion of that belonging, inclusion of that diversity, to eventually get to equity, which we believe is the fair treatment of all people, and that is to make sure that they are all participating and advancing in the process. Are there any questions? I can't see the chat box, but are there any questions? Okay. So today we are going to discuss equity in the workplace, equity in contracting, and what we discuss and call leveling the playing field. What do you think of when you think of these three areas? Do you believe that your organization operates from a place of equity, or are you operating from a place of equality? When you're contracting, and believe it or not, as small businesses, you contract with other businesses for goods and or services. And if in fact you are not having a position of equity either in your employment or in your contracting, how then do you level the playing field? Does your office view itself from an equality perspective or an equity perspective? Are all employees alike? Do they require the same tools to perform their tasks, or do they need other assistance in order to perform and to meet the needs of your organization? Are you leading from an equality perspective, or are you leading from an equity perspective? Sorry about that. I can't see the chat box, but I'd like for you guys to talk back to me. Tell me, do you see yourself operating from equity or equality? Take a moment to just enter that in the chat box for me, please. Okay,
oh, you see, okay.
Yes, I can see it now. Well, I think that's great. Pretty much most of you are saying that you are operating from a position of equity. And that's great. Equity and equality, it's good, but I want to make sure, and it's always important in this environment, that we address the elephant in the room and identify where there are shortcomings and where individuals need additional assistance in order to be successful. So when we're talking about equity in the workplace, we're asking you to evaluate your organization. Start with your leadership team, with your management team, understanding where they are, how they think about equity versus equality, where they see the business as a whole in moving forward and growing and developing and scaling. You need to evaluate your staff, understand their individual needs, know who you're working with and what skill set they have and what they need in order to be able to produce a product or a service in the manner in which leadership believes it should be moving. So you need to understand their needs. If their needs are not in lockstep with the needs of the organization, or their thought process is not in lockstep with the organization, you need to then look to equip your team with the necessary tools. It could be additional education. It could be additional professional development training. It could be checking in and checking up. You know, a lot of times we have employees that are just moving through the day. You don't necessarily check in with them. They keep their head low. They do the work that's assigned to them, and they don't otherwise engage. It's important for you to check in with those employees. Make sure that they believe that they are a part of the team and that they are getting the necessary resources to perform the tasks as are required by the organization for which they share. Check up, make sure that once you provide that professional development training, that education, or whatever other items are needed for your employees to be successful. Check up and make sure that they are now employing those skills and that they are growing and developing and moving forward in the environment in which you have created for them. Are there any questions, comments, thoughts? Okay. Anything in the chat, Tony? I can't hear you. Okay, awesome. Are there any questions, comments, anyone? Okay. So equity in contracting. You need to know who you're doing business with. You need to evaluate your organization. Are you operating from a place of equity or equality where you are comfortable and you know the folks work and you are just going to continue to utilize their services as opposed to engaging with others? So you need to evaluate your organization, know who you're doing business with. What do they bring to the table? What skill sets, what certifications, what licenses? Know who they are. Have conversations with them about equity and where they see themselves in an equity versus equality scenario or philosophy. Understand who they are. Look at how you select those vendors. Are you selecting those vendors? I was talking with Kelly and Kirby earlier, and what we've come to learn here in the Office of Equal Business Opportunity and for Palm Beach County as a whole, people do business with whom they know, like, and trust. Well, in order to get to know, like, and trust, you've got to develop a rapport. You've got to engage and have a conversation about your business, who your clients are, what services you provide, and how you intend to deliver those services. Find out if those companies somehow mirror the equity philosophy that your organization has. It's important because, you don't want to get down the line later, and find out maybe something that is not as forthcoming or positive about a business that you're doing business as it relates to an equity, equality, or a fair process of employing and doing business with others. Evaluate your leadership. What's that concept? What's your application of equity? How do you discuss equity with your team? How do you discuss equity in the world? Those things are really key and important when you're thinking about contracting. And before I leave today, we're going to talk about the process of contracting with Palm Beach County and doing business with Palm Beach County. But you have to know, from your leadership perspective to your relationship perspective, you need to know how people are moving and operating in this world. And again, in contracting, evaluate your staff. Know how your staff goes after companies. Know whether or not your staff is being inclusive when it's going out, or if you're putting out bids, if you're looking to do business. Understand the equity, equality scenario and philosophy of your staff, because that also determines the relationships and how you eventually become known out in the world for doing business. If you have a staff that has no desire to reach out to a small minority or woman business enterprise, for whatever reason, you need to understand that, because in order for us to get to leveling the playing field and having equity, you have to have individuals that share your philosophy, that believe in that philosophy, and understand that small business is in fact big business, not just in Palm Beach County, but all over the world. Small business is very big business, and there are lots of dollars to be made in this industry. But you have to make sure that your team, and the businesses that you ultimately work with, that they share somehow in your equity philosophy and understand the need to be inclusive, to have diversity, and to also have equity. Are there any questions, comments, thoughts? Oh, I see your hand.
Tonya, there's a question in the chat box. You want to ask? You want to
Yes,
address it now?
yes.
Okay. might there be a database program online site that is shared by all Palm Beach County Chambers of Commerce or tourism boards where businesses can seek these DEI businesses, etc.?
What's the DEI? What?
Maybe
I think I
DB.
could I could maybe speak to
Yeah.
that for a quick second. Yeah, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Oh, okay, DEI.
Yeah, and you know, remember, anytime you're looking at an organization like a chamber or a you know a business organization like that, all of their members will be listed on their websites. So I really suggest when you're looking for something, most of them have databases that are searchable by business category, and you can go in and type in, you know, like printers if you need business cards printed. And if you run your fingers and your eyes through that list of members, you know, you can often kind of find one that sticks out as maybe a woman-owned business or a minority-owned business, or you know, maybe the address might be helpful. You can call them and talk to them about your desire to really structure your purchase patterns around this type of goal, and you know, see what they have to say. They may be thrilled that you've called them, and you know, it may be the start of a beautiful relationship, even if they're not, you know, if they're not used to thinking of that as a qualifying aspect of their business. They need to. So you'll be educating them just by asking them, you know, what their philosophy is, and you know, and expressing your desires. I hope that
Absolutely.
helps.
Yeah, no, that does perfectly. You know, with Antonia coming on board, we have committed to do very targeted outreach. And one of the things that came out of the disparity study and the new program implementation for the Palm Beach County Office of Equal Business Opportunity was that we needed to increase the number of businesses doing business with Palm Beach County so that we could be able to set goals and establish goals, right? So one of Antonia's charges certainly can be to engage with the chambers, since she's now our appointed representative for all of the chambers, to reach out to the businesses. We have several things that I'm going to share with the businesses today to help them better engage, and then they'll have an idea when we call them what we're actually talking about, by way of understanding what a large agency like Palm Beach County is doing. So yes, Kelly, absolutely. And we will definitely take an opportunity as a member of the chamber to reach out to the members and to also help you navigate the process. So thank
Excellent.
you for that question. All righty, I'm gonna do another quick, how do I get to my second one?
If you move your mouse around up at the top, a bar should come up at the top of your screen that says poll.
There we go. Quick question. Just a few more seconds. Well, of the 12 that are here, 12% says that they believe that what comes to mind for them is equal opportunity when leveling the playing field. Thank you for taking the time to complete the poll. There we go. So as we talk about the subject of leveling the playing field, I want to share a couple of things with you. Remember that as you seek to improve the overall climate of your business or workplace, you must evaluate your thoughts about equity, your organization's actions as it relates to equity, and what you can do to ensure that your environment is equitable. We must remember that equality is different from equity, and it can be easily confused. We must be intentional about the way we conduct business. Are there any questions before we go into how you can do business with Palm Beach County? Okay, so We're going to move right into it. So many of you may or may not be aware that the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners commissioned a disparity study in 2017. The results of that study showed us that there was a disparity in contracting with Palm Beach County for minorities, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, and women. And when we say women, we are talking about Caucasian females. There was a disparity shown in the amount of dollars that were expended with those particular groups. As a result of the study's findings, the Office of Equal Business Opportunity implemented its program January 1 of 2019. We have the specific program we have always operated a small business program. And although we captured information on minority and women, the program was not set up for them. It was specifically dealing with them as a small business enterprise. Palm Beach County has a program, and our program now focuses specifically on being able to offer opportunities to our minority and women business enterprises. I want to share with you with the disparity study, there were a number of work groups that were created. We found in the disparity study that there was not equity in access to funding. We found that the payment of our small businesses needed to be in a timely manner because they are in fact small and they cannot afford to float dollars as our larger businesses would. So with the program, there came a number of work groups. We have a access to capital work group. We have the expedited payment work group. There are a number of things that were already in place for the small business program that have been kind of reimagined and pushed out in the new program. For instance, with the construction industry, if there is a project that a construction company is going after and it's $200,000 or less, Palm Beach County offers a bond waiver program where those businesses can take advantage of it. So, we are doing our part here in Palm Beach County to address equity. More often than not, you hear a lot of the conversation surrounding construction, but do know Palm Beach County, number one, is one of the largest employers here in Palm Beach County, but we procure everything from pencils, pens, toilet paper, construction, architect engineering services, roadway. You think about it, promotional items, uniforms, dry cleaning. We purchase swim pants, fish food. You would just never, think about those things as being purchased by an organization of our size, but we in fact do. So with the disparity study, with the implementation of the new program, there have been some changes and there have been items that have been put in place to assist the small business enterprise in doing business with the county. So let me just share with you, we have certification. So Palm Beach County's disparity study says that we have to track the purchases that we have with our small minority and women business enterprises. We have to track the dollars that we spend with non-certified businesses. And so the county wants to know what its overall spend is, and of that overall spend, how much of that is going to the small minority women business enterprise community. So we have certification. The certification is what allows us to track, because we can actually track the payments we track the contracts, we track the payments, and that helps us to understand how much money we are actually spending here locally with our small business enterprises. And so with that, we have the certification program, and in order to certify as a business under the Palm Beach County's program, you must be a Palm Beach County based business. And so being a Palm Beach County based business, we have a domicile requirement. My little thing here is not working. Let's see. There we go. There are a couple of things, we'll get into this in just a moment. So requirement of certification for Palm Beach County is to be a domiciled-based business. The Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners wanted to make sure that the dollars were staying in Palm Beach County. And so therefore they implemented the requirement that the business must be domiciled here in Palm Beach County. You can be a home-based business, you can have a business, you can have a brick and mortar, you can have a business, in a location that's verifiable. So let's talk about that.
Tonya, can I ask a question really quick? I have a question in the chat box.
Sure.
Deborah Gottlieb wants to know, does an organization need a disparity study that finds inequity in contracting in order to prefer SMWBE entities?
So in order to have a MWBE program and to be able to offer a preference, an organization must have a disparity study. You have to have at least 3 to 5 years of data. Probably the 5 years is better because they're going to go back and look at your overall spend and how you issued your contracts over a period of years to tell you whether or not there was actually disparity based on the demographics and the data, as well as the dollars that would be spent. So in order to have a program, you must have a disparity study. Yes, ma'am.
And G. Joseph Garcia would like to know, curious, on the latest PBC, or I think on the latest PBC county's disparity study reports, did the county include LGBTQ members into their focus groups to enliven equity? If not, what can be done in the future through OEBO?
So no, LGBT was not included in the study. We didn't have data to support or to show us if there was any disparity amongst that group. What the Office of Equal Business Opportunity has been doing is we reached out to Compass and the and perhaps we need to reach out to the Human Rights Council as well to engage and to share information about the programs, the opportunities, and the information that would be needed for us to further track moving down the line. But we are certainly aware, keenly aware of the LGBTQ community and seeking to engage you in the process of doing business with Palm Beach County. So how many of you, by show of hand, are a registered vendor with Palm Beach County? Let me see if I can see your hands. Well, Tony can see hands. How many of you, by show of hands, or just put in the chat box, registered? So in order to do business with Palm Beach County, you must first be a registered vendor. We're doing okay on time, Kirby? Awesome. All righty. So in order to do business with Palm Beach County, you must be a registered vendor with Palm Beach County. This is the vendor self-service portal. It is, you can do it at your leisure. It tells you what documents you would need to have. And so what I would encourage you to do if you are not a registered vendor is take a look at the document, take a look at this registration portal, identify the documents that you need, get them together, and be ready to do it in one fell swoop. You can create your user ID and your password. That's something that you definitely need to keep handy because you are the keeper of your information in this vendor registration portal. Once you register and you get a vendor registration number, you can then seek to certify. But here, it tells you what information can be obtained once you are a registered vendor. You'll get to look at the purchasing website, pull up their solicitations. Let's see if it'll do it for me. You can pull up solicitations and know exactly what we are looking to purchase and how you can go about bidding on that solicitation. There is a link here that will take you back to OEBO, and then here is a vendor directory. So you can click in this vendor directory and put in, as Kelly said, painter. It's going to pull up for you all of the registered businesses that are painters. And I would like to be able to, let's see, it's not letting me move through. But you can visit that site. You can look at all of the registered vendors, and then there is a button there where you can click EBO vendors, and it will tell you all of the vendors that are certified to provide painting services. So it's there, and it will tell you how we have them broken out, whether or not they are minority female or Caucasian female or African American or Asian. That information stays in there. So you're definitely welcome to go through there and see what's available for you by way of companies that you may be seeking to do business with. And then this is also a way for you as a small business to identify other businesses that you would like to engage, maybe reach out to them, just as we were talking about reaching out to you to find out what it is that you do and the services that you perform and provide, and how we may be of help with you registering and certifying to do business with Palm Beach County.
Tonya, would you share who conducted this disparity study for Palm Beach County?
Our disparity study was conducted by Dr. Eleanor Ramsey, and give me 1 second, company name. Here you go. Our study, please forgive me, it's been a moment, but I know her name very well. Dr. Ramsey, Dr. Eleanor Ramsey, and her company. I'll put it in the chat in just 1 moment.
Okay. And could or should a doctor's office register as a Palm Beach County vendor?
What kind of services? Absolutely. What kind of services, Dr. Simone?
Chiropractic.
Yes, I would say yes. I've encouraged other chiropractors to register, because not only you offer other services besides chiropractic services, correct? And we have a wellness program that also takes a look at the physicians that are in the database to seek to do business with you, because they offer so many things throughout the year for us for wellness, health, and employee development. So yes, I would say absolutely. Anything else, Tony, before we go?
No.
Okay. Let's see. I get that to my points. All right. That may be kind of small, but here's what we do have for you. After you received your vendor registration, you can look to certify with the Office of Equal Business Opportunity. Some of the things that we talk about as benefits, there's a goal, there's a minimum mandatory of 20% SMWBE participation, or SBE participation, which is inclusive of our minorities and women. We have the APIs, or goals as they are now commonly known. APIs are affirmative procurement initiatives, and they are a part of our ordinance, and it is what allows us to place goals on projects, especially on those project areas where there was found to be disparity. Mason Tillman Associates is the provider of the disparity study. There is preference that's given to SMWBE businesses who are bidding as primes when responding to procurement opportunities. And we also have additional points that we can award when SMWBEs are responding to requests for proposals. So we talk about, just really briefly, your eligibility requirement. You must be a state of Florida registered legal operating entity. That's important. Once you have registered with the state of Florida, naturally you will take care of whatever licenses and your business tax receipts. And we found out, let me tell you, I don't know if you guys applied for the business cares receipt, But one of the thorns in our sides during this grant process was the mere fact that businesses did not realize that they needed to have a local business tax receipt. And I am sure that every business that's on this call has a business tax receipt for either their municipality. Well, you should have your municipality if you are in a municipality, and your Palm Beach County business tax receipt. If you have not done that, please do so. That is critical to your operation. And it's just one of the taxes that Palm Beach County employs. What can I tell you? So you know, again, to certify with our office, you must be domiciled in Palm Beach County. If you're in the industry of construction, your business cannot average more than $9 million, and that's averaged over 3 years. Our gross receipts average is over 3 years. Our certification is a 3-year certification. Our certification is free of charge. For commodities, that's your goods, your pencils, pens, your those kinds of things, goods. You cannot exceed $5 million in the commodities areas. And for our CCNA, which are architects, engineers, and surveyors, that's $5 million averaged over 3 years as well. And then for professional services, which would just be our consultants, if you are seeking to maybe do some training through our HR department for professional development, we look for consultants, you know, throughout the year to provide various trainings as a part of our professional development for Palm Beach County employees. So for those kinds of professional services, consultants, your gross receipts cannot exceed $4 million. And then you'll go through the process because we are automated. We have gotten away from the paper application, and you can now upload all of your documentation into our certification portal. You can apply online. You know, there is questions that you may have that will be addressed by the specialist that will be assigned to you. One of the good things that we have done here in this office is we now assign our specialists in perpetuity to you so that you are not bounced from one specialist to another. So if you come in and you certify with Deidre Kyle, you will have Deidre Kyle for the life of your certification. Even as you renew the certification, if you continue on in the program for 15, 20 years, well, as long as she's here, you would have your one specialist. However, other specialists can certainly assist you because we keep detailed notes and information in our OEBO admin portal. But I think that that's just an added value to your certification, being assigned one individual that will know who you are. You will develop a relationship with you. They will share with you the process of responding to solicitations. They'll take a look at your response if need be. You know, they will walk you through the process, and what I have told them, they are to help you navigate the maze of procurement that is Palm Beach County. Because trust me, sometimes it's not an easy feat, but once you get one or two under your belt, you'll understand what the requirements are, and you'll understand how to respond so that you can always be deemed a responsible bidder. Any question? I know that was a lot. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Let me go back to the thing. So I'm just gonna go back. So as we said earlier, you know, there's so much that goes along with the notion of equity, belonging, diversity, inclusion, but we want to constantly and consistently recognize and redistribute that power, but we want to also, as I said, you want to check in and check up on your employees, making sure that they are in lockstep with your philosophy and that of your organization. And maybe they have some ways that they believe you can possibly improve, but you want to constantly, you know, engage your staff. Check in, check up. I've shared with you the vendor registration portal, the OEBO certification, but I want to share this one last thing with you. On the Palm Beach County Office of Equal Business Opportunities website, we have here. Do you see this area right here? It says business opportunities. So what we've been doing is we've been putting up for you a list of, let's just say, construction. We'll put up a list of solicitations. And this is to help you navigate. There we go. So here's an example. So February 16th is the closing date for this upcoming project. So it tells you what the bid quote number is. It tells you the project name and description. Tells you, gives you exactly what it is that we're looking for. It tells you what the API, remember I told you affirmative procurement initiatives, APIs, which can also be called goals. It tells you which goal, which API was put on the solicitation and what has to be adhered to as a part of this. It tells you the estimated budget dollar, the department, when there's a pre-bid, and the closing date, but it also gives you contact information. It tells you who the responsible person is on staff. It gives you a telephone number as well as an email address. We want you to be able to get as much information as you possibly can naturally before the closing dates of these projects. But here we have asbestos abatement that's coming up. That doesn't close until May 30th. But if there's, let's just say that you are dealing with asbestos. So you could give Kathy a call, tell her you're interested in that project, you want some additional information, and she will get that information for you so that you can have as much information as you need. Is that helpful? Okay. And then we do this as well for our other departments, for goods and service solicitations, and also for, we do current and we do upcoming. So whatever goes before the goal setting committee, you should be able to take a look. When we say upcoming solicitations, there's not a date necessarily that's associated with when it's going. It says published date, but these are the items, these are the upcoming solicitations. So we're giving you an advanced look at what's going to be coming and hitting the streets by way of Palm Beach County solicitation. So all of the information is there for you, the contact information. We give you what they believe to be the estimated value of the project, but you have the contact information for those individuals who are responsible for those various solicitations. So this is our way of helping you to make a decision in advance of this notification hitting the street. You can call and get the information and you make that business decision, because we do recognize that responding to these bids, it's a cost. It takes time from your organization. But we wanted to be able to provide you with every bit of information that we possibly could provide to you to position you in order to make a decision as to whether or not that's a good solicitation for you and your business. Any questions on that? Are there any other questions? Well, I think we did well on our time, Kirby. I hope that you found this information to be helpful. I am available to answer any questions. Tony has put our contact information in the chat box. Please do avail yourselves and take us up on the offer to work with you, to have a conversation with you, and to talk with you about the Palm Beach County Office of Equal Business Opportunity, the issue of equity, our disparity study. I'm going to stop sharing. And it really has been my honor and pleasure to share with you today. And we do stand readily available at any time to offer information to you about doing business with Palm Beach County. So thank you, Kirby. Thank you, Kelly. And thank you to each of you that have joined us today.
Well, thank you so much. That was so much information. So I do want to remind everybody that this meeting was recorded and it will be posted to our YouTube channel and on our website. So if there's any information that you need, please feel free to go back and rewatch it. With that being said, if you can think of any questions, I'm going to kind of discuss some upcoming events that we might have. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Our next Women in Business meeting is March 11th from 9 to 10 a.m. via Zoom, and this is our part 3 with inclusion. So we would love for everybody to attend that. So please go to our website and register. We also have a Ford Harrison seminar. It is Tuesday, February 16th from 9 to 10 a.m. and it's Can You Keep a Trade Secret? And I did see David Gobio. He was on the call. It does look like he just had to jump off. And then we have a business builder on February 18th from 9 to 10 a.m. Again, all of these are via Zoom. So we would love to see each and every one of you there. Tonya, thank you so much for coming and speaking to us today. I do know we are running short on time, but I do want to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves with their name and their company. That way we get to meet you. So, all right, I will start with Dr. Simone.
Hello, I am Dr. Simone. I am part of Health Max Center. We focus on wellness and chiropractic, nutrition, just overall health for everyone.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. G. Joseph Garcia.
Yes, good morning. My name is Joseph Garcia. I'm a board member of the Palm Beach County Human Rights Council, and I have been working in the tourism industry for the past 15 years.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. And Tonya, you have done so much for this meeting today. So if you would please introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me this morning. I'm Tony Smith. I am the Public Information and Outreach Coordinator for the Palm Beach County Office of Equal Business Opportunity.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here with us today. Sharon.
Hey everyone, I'm Sharon Hoffman with Sunfest. And although Sunfest 2021 has been canceled and we're all very sad about that, I know everybody's crying. So this is our baby. It's my baby. I've been with it for, I can't tell you how many years, so I don't want to, like, you just get emotional when you talk about it, but we are ready more than ever to make Sunfest 2022 the best yet.
And we are ready for it. So super excited for that. Deborah.
Hi there, I'm Deborah Gottlieb. I'm with the Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County, and this information was very helpful. We're just sort of starting looking at equity around our procurement, so the info is very helpful. Thank you.
Good, thank you so much for joining. Lynn. Oh, I see she put it in the chat. I will speak for her. This is Lynn Rosario. I am the Business Development Specialist at Velocity Community Credit Union. We are founded by Pratt & Whitney for over 60 years, full service financial institution. And she says, thank you. This was a great presentation. Kelsey.
Good morning, everyone. My apologies for not having my video on. I am driving. My name is Kelsey Rivera. I'm with ServPro of West Palm Beach. I am the marketing manager here. So I oversee a lot of the business development and going over a lot of the bids and contracts that we apply for. So yes, thank you for having me and for speaking. It was a really great presentation. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And with that said, I want to end right at 10. I am so happy to see everybody, and I cannot wait for the next meeting. Thank you so much, Tonya and Tony, for joining us today. And please go and have a safe, happy, and healthy rest of your day. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.